I'm sick from homesick. Um, so I'm gonna need to take a COVID test just in case. I doubt it was. It was very brief. It seemed like one of those seasonal things, change of seasons. Like, oh yeah, let's when enough pollen hits you, you get like the little shivers for like 6 hours. Stuff like that. It wasn't unprecedented or anything like that. But so while I, but I, things had to happen before I go out to get tested. I have to shake my head, take a shower, but the battery ran out in the shaver, so I'm waiting for the shaver to fulfill. And while the shaver is charging, a little backlog is happening here. So I figured I'd take my mind off that by doing a Dune-related thing. This is from this is called the Baron's Imperial Dermatologist. This is out of the most memorable thing of the Dune trilogy, the Dune movie by David Lynch. So I go, alright, so let's begin. It's a living Pelican compactor, the books of Flint and Stone, the Hain Barbarian dialogues. You are a doctor with Imperial conditioning, in an Imperial vessel making landing on Gidi Prime. The planet is in desperate need of houseplants, and someone should check the boiler 'cause steam is everywhere. You've talked to every previous doctor still surviving, except Yui. He hasn't been picking up. They all agree wearing casual surgical attire was bearable and downright fun to wear, even when having to navigate serious matters. What serious matters? Well, all the dead boy bodies. Their hot plugs unplugged, for one. The cavalier attitude he has for his eternally weeping pustules, his high blood pressure, the easy spread of his disease given to him by Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam. Yeah, hashtag her too. His demands, his contradictions, the way he just murders your wife sometimes. And what takes the cake? The semi-daily draining of his unfathomably huge and deep pustulators. One doctor exclaimed, "There's gotta be a sub-basement to these things." And no pain. For someone into causing pain, the doctors frequently mentioned a mule coming from him with each tiny drill. The mule of a puss. The first rule of the Gidi Prime doctor's office, don't tether the Baron. The second rule, you're bound to find a poison needle in someone's thigh. Don't be too grabby. Don't be too grabby. Your life depends on it. You sigh and recall the ancient proverb of Pelican compactor exhaling again. It's a living. Let's see. You enter the orientation offices to get orientated into the bureaucracies of paperwork that will start your practice on Gidi Prime. You have a feeling there are going to be quite many forms to fill out, so you start working as they walk into the reception room of Dr. Morbidbor. Morbidbor. Your boss walks in behind them and asks if she could speak with the newest edition. He looks like an old man, but isn't handsome older than he appears. He has dark hair, which goes down below the shoulders. He's about 6 feet tall, with gray eyes and wears black pants, shirt, suspenders. The only thing different about him from other doctors was his hands. They were scarred and rough-looking. He looked up at you and says, "The next two sentences I'm translating from the old Universal and will be marked accordingly." Let's see where this goes. Old Universal Translation, dogs. "Hello, my new assistant. You seem nice and smart and eager. Do you mind telling me where do we meet the Baron and why, you ask? I'll tell the Baron that you've been properly introduced. I don't think he's been in here for some years now, so he's not likely know what the proper procedures would be, and I don't know why, but he doesn't come around very often. But I think that you'd better be ready and well prepared, because I doubt that anyone will believe this when you go back home, unless you have proof of what has happened and how to prevent it from happening again. And I'm afraid he may take a while, but he will no doubt blame whatever has trespassed this office on you, no matter when you have arrived, because you will be occupying this position in the present, and is only the present that he considers important. And he will repeat to you endlessly, even though it does not make sense, and I'm trying to mimic the way the tablet books with me. No, well... Okay. I'm glad that the tablet has misread what I said, because whenever I actually swear, it would delete everything. So, good on you, tablet. Tried everything you need of the information on his hand, so let's begin. I'm Doctor of Medical History Morbibor. And the first part is very easily for me to talk. This office and the building itself were designed to house one of the greatest physicians of this or perhaps any age. It's called the Great Moan. But I was not able to keep her for more than 1 month. She was a great physician of the medical field, but she wasn't able of understanding the politics. I've been practicing for many long, boring decades, and I'm willing of change. While this morbid tabor speaks, you consult your archives in your head and research all the mentions of the Great Moan. Who is she? What did she do? Learn as much about her in between these words of his speech. Morbabar, the Great Moon, who is known of many of you, and I am a good doctor and will work with you to help your patient. However, it has a tendency of getting the most attention. The most famous one, of course, being myself. A few people will ask me questions that don't need an answer to, and that makes the patients unhappy. And so, if you need of anything, and I do, don't be afraid of saying. Also, be wary of what I might say if the patient has not the time. If you don't like my advice, go ahead and give it. You inquire about the mention of these patients. You're the Imperial doctor. You only have one patient, and that is the Baron. Is that not true? Question mark. No, the Baron hasn't seen a doctor yet, and the one before you wasn't a doctor, but he didn't have any problems. So the one previous patient has died then? Yes, he passed last night. That doesn't make sense. The Baron's been dead since you arrived here. Then why have you taken on my contract? The Baron has been gone a long time ago. He never had many contracts with different doctors in the city. He has a large estate outside the city, and his house there is empty. That's fine with you, isn't it? The house needs some work done to it. You, Okay, so does that mean that I should retreat to his house and await instructions? I'm flexible. I'm ever flexible. I'm ever so flexible. I'm ever flexible. Until morning, I want to sleep for a few more days and we can get a little more restful. And maybe you could explain how you could be the Imperial Doctor's doctor, but you don't understand the rules that I was taught when the first Imperial governor came into power. You were new here. The Doctor and the Baron talk about this for hours. The Doctor's assistant leaves and goes back into the office and says that it looks like a new intern is leaving. And they leave the hospital and enter a black SUV. They go out to a no SUV. They go out to a different hospital. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to change that into a no SUV. It's anachronistic, but I'd like to. They go out to a different hospital and they're taken inside by an older gentleman in white, like how he has the intern, where they have come to see the patient and tells them he has no patience. You say, I do agree. From what I hear, he can hardly sit still. Let's see if they get it. But he is so bored of waiting, and the boredom will eat him up like he would if I was there. I can't be with the others, but he won't get enough food in a room full of doctors who aren't really doing things with their lives. He will start crying at the most boring things, and you'll just ignore him. He'll scream. You'll ignore him. He won't listen to the music because he doesn't like it, so I'm afraid you'll end up killing him by making fun or playing pranks on him. Doctors are afraid of that. What? You furrow your brow. What must I do to convince you all that I am the new doctor? Look at my forehead. The diamond thing. This. Look. I can feel your anger from far away. You want to strangle me, I know. But I know I can prove it. What would happen? What will you try? And I'm not scared of you. I've heard that story about the doctor in a house. And the Baron. He's not going to be here today, so we all have this free time. What could I possibly need to make you stop hating my very self? And then he'll start asking all the doctors questions about how to diagnose the patients and how to treat it. And if you tell them you know the right way, he is always right, but you know the secret way. And the doctors that were with the other doctors said that he has been working alone and is... You throw your vest down, you clatter your daggers on the floor, and you scream, I demand confirmation. The quote-unquote doctor knows exactly what that means and prepares for a fight at sundown. Unquote. Apparently. At sundown, unquote. I'm not here because you asked, he says in a loud voice to his own face. And then it happens. The Baron's secretary comes out to the receptionist to say the Baron will now come. It is noon. The sun rises as high as the sun does during this season, he says to the doctor. I have come for. The doctor I've come for. I am here to give you a warning. You will die within a week. You have a brain cancer, and there is nothing you or I can do. It will be painful for you, but if your body fights hard enough to hold on to life for 2 more weeks, it will win. You say to this person, I'm sorry, and you are? What's your credentials? You a doctor? You a doctor? Sorry. And the person tells you, I was your assistant. Has never practiced medicine. You know what you're looking at is dead. You don't believe what you see. You have the power of my knowledge. Your knowledge will help us. You know the secrets. You think of something. You are the emperor. You are the greatest surgeon who has walked through a clinic. It doesn't matter. You're in a city, and you know you will have to do something, or your empire will be doomed. What? And the only thing you don't know that I'm telling you about yourself, you're a bad boy who got caught doing bad things with your powers. You're afraid of that. You laugh at his face, and in his face, and on his face. Boy, what a misread you just did. I'm not even the emperor. I don't even want to be an emperor. I just want to heal. I just want to hear you. The doctor laughs. You laugh too. He smiles. He looks at the ground. But I know that he's laughing because it makes the pain worse. It makes the you think the world is made from you, so let us continue. It takes some time, but he finally gets the Baron on the plane. The Baron doesn't get the warning until he's already at the house. He hasn't been home in years, and it's strange to be back. He walks through his old mansion. The house was a gift to him by his family. It had changed so much he couldn't even remember the old days. There was something new to it. So when the doctor's door opens, he's confused to be standing there. I thought he left. You whisper to someone, I thought he was supposed to be so fat that he needed to be carried around by a big suit, or like some globes or something. What is wrong, you ask me? And you should be more than you should be. He doesn't say a thing for a few moments until you hear footsteps behind the doctor, and it was a doctor you haven't seen even before. You are shocked, but the man says to the doctor that they have met, and the doctor tells the doctor about how you can save his soul if you kill the doctor's brain. And it's the truth, because they both want the Baron's money to go back to the Empire. But then the doctor realizes the doctor's not really the doctor. He asks what the doctor is wearing, and he has the Baron in front of the Baron, and the Baron doesn't recognize him, and they can see him, and you know exactly what's happening right now. You know exactly what's happening right now, and you create an immediate solution. Dot. With a flourish of everything in your body, you set out a whirlwind of scalpels, a couple dozen of them, flying into the air. People are shocked, especially the doctors, considering 3 or 4 of them have just entered their bodies. The doctors, quote-unquote doctors, fall to the ground dead, and those who aren't dead are standing silent, aghast, and weeping sometimes. You explain. folks, no worries. I think everything is now straightened out. Here's what's happening. These doctors, they're not doctors. They don't have the Imperial conditioning. Look at this right here. Let me get to their foreheads. See if this diamond rubs off. All right, this doesn't rub off. Volunteer, just confirm. Like rub it. See. Um, they think they've been trying to poison the Baron. We'll figure this out. There will be more information tomorrow. I am the doctor. I guess this is my intro. If you have any questions, just email me. They're all very upset about that. You walk up to them one at a time, and they start screaming about you being evil, that you're the devil, you're a witch. The Baron tells everyone that it will be okay because the doctors will do what is right, and he is still sick, so it will work. He thinks that everyone should listen to what he says, and that they will do whatever he says, which isn't true. You say that he will get well again because the doctor said so. The next morning, you go to your office. You look at it as your job now. The first thing that you do is call the police to arrest all of the doctor's assistants for murder because of their plot to drug and assassinate the Baron to death. You submit receipts of the poison that they bought with the Baron's money through the official Harkonnen account. Sorry, I just realized I just coughed into the microphone. The next morning, after your conversation, you say you're sorry to the people that you killed. The Baron calls an emergency meeting with all the doctors in town because the plan didn't exactly come to fruition like you wanted. Now there's a new plot to drug the Baron and assassinate the Baron through you and the doctors who are against the Baron. It would seem as if the Empire is in danger of attack, and the Emperor's worried that the doctor might try something else, and now is when you explain that there's a way to stop it. That if he goes in the surgery room, that he won't be the target. So you don't want to go and do anything to hurt the Baron. And you will prove it by performing a most simple and routine operation involving the Baron's pustules. They seem very full and firm, like they have been neglected, and that poison is not good for him. They need to be taken out. Does the Baron consent to this, you ask? It would mean the difference in your lives in many of cases. You wouldn't need to go through your whole career with the Empire, and that your children will have a better life. I'm going in. You will tell the others, and it will be your duty to help the Baron through the surgery, but he has a long, hard battle to fight. And you need a surgeon like yourself there to make the incision, if he can be saved. It will take at least a month before you are ready to leave for a new life away from all this. But then you are back, and it's over. Everyone is free from their problems, and you and the Baron become the new leaders, and it's a most beautiful place, if you succeed. If you succeed. There is one small hitch. The doctor wants a second, and you refuse him a contract on your person. He's been waiting for a moment, and he can't be patient much longer. The problem is there's no other surgeon that can save the doctor's soul if it fails. But you have no intention to do it. You say to the doctor, "I'm not doing it." And he tells you that if he's got another one to try and force it to get it, and he's got a lot of time, you think. And finally the Baron asks for his consent. And he doesn't care if he's dying, and he's the rule of an entire planet. Do it, I order you. Imperial Doctor, which is you. You prove it by smashing the other doctor's face against the autoclave while in high centrifugal force, causing a spew of blood all around that made the Baron giggle like a child. But you're not like a child. And the doctor starts saying something I don't really hear. But when he finishes, you realize the doctor is talking about him. So you get angry and you slam his forehead on top of your desk, knocking him unconscious. You say to the doctor that he doesn't need a contract. You don't know who he is anymore. Doctor, says your assistant, as she's the one who has helped you throughout the entire affair. You think you're done here. You walk out into the street, but then she grabs your wrist. Wait a minute. You turn around to look her right eye, and then down to the other one. You say, you have nothing to discuss? Be glad to refer you to another surgeon that's off-world that will help rectify your skull so that your eyes are parallel, but until that happens, do not talk to me. You look at me with those eyes. You know how they are now. I don't even think of my family. You don't have a brain. No brain means no doctoring of any sort. So just sit here for 2 weeks, or a week, or 6 months, or forever, if you have to, until you learn not to just the way to cut. I know that now. I've been practicing. You're not just an idiot. You'll see, and then you'll be the first doctor since before you ever thought up your stupid plan to do anything with that thing in you, and I have no desire to die in any other way except a very messy and horrible manner because of what you are doing. The Baron relents and calls off his elaborate gaslight patrols, who have been confusing the doctor all this time with a labyrinth of a story regarding multiple doctors and assistants and barons who aren't barons. This is how he protects himself from the random assassination attempts. No one who's entered his circle ever navigates through that and lives, except for this person, which might be the proof of his Imperial conditioning. He finally takes his finger and rubs the little diamond on his forehead, and it doesn't come off. Okay, I'm ready. So they all come in. You go to the front where you can look at them and tell everyone to leave or to take a nap. The Baron gets upset with what's going to happen. He has the idea to get out and go to the planet side of the sun, and there he won't be poisoned that way. The other patients don't understand the logic in this. They don't like the Baron, but he seems more sane and he doesn't say anything about their condition, so maybe you're wrong, and they will stay with you if he dies because of this. You explain it all, and the Baron says, "You have the truth, and the truth." And then you tell them that you need to get to the mini vacuum pumps that are right over there, and they need to be plugged in and to stand back because things are going to get a little messy. You pull the plugs. You can hear a low whine, then something begins sucking in oxygen through the walls of your body, of your body. This goes on for several minutes, then the vacuum pumps go out. There's nothing you have to say. They're dead. "Oh," says your assistant, as you turn away to grab a tray of surgical instruments. "We've all lost the lights in that corridor. The door won't open now, and there's water everywhere. I'm going down, and I'll be out of the way." Then she is gone. You have your tools, but the lights are off. In a few moments, your arms are covered with the most incredible feeling of warmth you can imagine. It radiates from the Baron. How can something so crimson and iridescent be also so foul and fetid in smell? Smell. You continue to excavate the material, the remnants of the immune system that has been fighting so hard this poison that was given to him long ago through another thing that will be recounted in another book. The book. You find that the doctor has done the most amazing thing in his career as a doctor, and he's found the only person to ever have a soul that hasn't been affected yet by this plot. You look and see a man who has done that job, and you can't believe you are looking upon. And now you have to do yours. You take your scalpel and begin to make incisions. I know how it sounds when you think you're crazy, or that the doctor has some type of mind-controlling drugs. You're talking to yourself all the time, but he's just not as smart as he thinks you are, and he's just got to get his hands and legs. You totally understand the purpose of this dissociative. It's an anesthetic for the surgeon, for the doctor. It's something that is bound to, as you have to do this long term, prevent a most unfortunate resentment that would happen if the doctor had to endure the disgustingness of it. But with the promise of inebriation during all these surgeries, he can stand a chance at being, at the very least, a trusted person in the Baron's court. Maybe. The Baron's court unfortunate. You take your blade and start cutting away the flesh. The The blood is so red the Baron's brain becomes inflamed. The doctor starts screaming about this is not good. It should be blue. It's like it's all a bad dream. It shouldn't even be real. You look into the room with all the eyes of a god. The patient, the people you've cut into are dead. The doctor's head and his legs are still twitching, and the nurse screams, and the doctor falls silent. The patients are dead. The people the doctors have been dead for days. You're alive. The doctor is dead. He'll be in pain. And then the nurse screams again, and then you and the nurse are gone. You can feel them coming for you, and there's nowhere to run. And the door closes. You have done this before, but you have never heard the scream. And then the nurse, you have to finish what he has started, and now you look up and he isn't there. And you have a decision to do. I'm glad to know this doctor. He has the most incredible story in him. He could probably tell me everything, and that I would never be able. It is so strange. You've seen the truth about him, and you have a responsibility to do what is best for him, and you think it over. Then, you see how much he hates himself, how many ways he could hurt and kill and mutilate you in this world. We'll end this here. I think that's a fine ending. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm gonna go get tested. Or I'm gonna shave my head, then go get tested. Or shave my head, take a shower, give myself a sandwich, and go get tested. And all these things.